And then it's the same thing with, you know, and so like I said, so we're doing 285. Well, you go up, now it'll also work in, if you go to, say, we want to go to 315, 75,
I don't have any.
or 60. Well, so you look, you're like, okay, well, wait a minute, this number and this number are the same, but the first number is different. Well, the way it works out is 315 is wider, so now when you take 75% of that, that gives you more sidewall, and then you add the wheel, and then that gives you the height difference. So this tire is, say, a 32-inch tall tire, this is a 35-inch tall tire. And it's all based on how that equation works out. So that is basically how you do wheel tire sizes now. Now, also for lifted applications, that's another very popular question. What size tire can I run on my truck? Well, that is a very common question, and it's also can be a very difficult question because it really depends on many factors. Most vehicles nowadays, most trucks come with anywhere from a 31 to almost 34-inch tall tire. And depending on how much you lift it, depending on the size tire you can run with. Most trucks do have a little bit of a fudge factor for stock height. So in other words, say a Chevy truck comes with a 260, 245, 75R16, which is roughly a 30-inch tall tire. You can step up to one size, which is a 31, it's a 265. You can actually maybe sneak a 285 with some trucks. It just depends on the vehicle. Fords and Dodges, sometimes you can fit as big as a 35-inch tire with minimal modification at all. So it just depends. But on average, usually you figure if a stock vehicle is sitting at, you know, if it has, say, a 31-inch tall tire, and then you lift it 4 inches. Okay, you can't necessarily go up 4 inches in tire height, just, you know, because it depends. But usually you can go to at least a 33-inch tall tire. Most vehicles nowadays, it's actually working out. This is more back in the 80s, early 90s. This is kind of the equation. But nowadays, it's more you do a 4-inch lift and you can fit 35s now, or in a 6-inch you can fit 37s. So, but most vehicles, what you can do, Chevy trucks are equal to this. 4-inch lift equals 6-inch lift equals 35s. Dodges are 4-inch equals 35s, or even you usually even fit them on a 2-inch level kit as well. But if you're using aftermarket, 35 would be perfect. 6-inch equals 37s. Fords. Same thing. Now this is depending on if it's an F-150 or a 250 on the Ford, it's a little different. But a 4-inch is going to be on an F-150 35s. 6-inch is going to be 37s. I mean, and it's just that's how the Fords and Dodges usually sit a little bit taller than the Chevy, so that's why you can use those numbers. But that's pretty much the norm. Back in the 80s, 35s was huge. Those were big tires. Nowadays, 37s are the norm. I mean, that's almost pretty much the thing anymore. But, you know, people do like to try to keep their fuel mileage as good as possible. So we're kind of starting to see where most people are still sticking with 35s, but 37s are still very popular. Wheel sizes. Wheel sizes range anywhere, since we're talking about full-size trucks, usually the minimum you see anymore is 16-inch wheels. 17s, vehicles come with 18s and 20s. Those are the 4 really popular items. Even 16s have been pretty hot since basically the late 80s into early thousands. But now you're starting to see where these are just, you know, you're not even seeing these anymore. Now it's all 17s, 18s, and 20s. And basically the reason why is because every year the manufacturers are putting bigger, better brakes on vehicles, and in order to put bigger, better brakes, you have to put a bigger wheel to go over that brake. So that's why you're seeing these bigger wheels now. Pricing-wise, wheels and tires, the bigger the wheel, the bigger the tire, the more expensive it's going to be usually. On average, probably you're going to go anywhere from $50 to $75 up each wheel size. You know, so if you have an 17-inch wheel, say it's, you know, $150, you're going to go up to an 18. It's going to be probably around at least $200 to $225. And if you do a 20, it's going to be, you know, $250 to say 300. Now these are just basic wheels. I mean, wheels can get very expensive. We've done some wheels that can run over $1,000 each wheel. It just depends. But that's kind of on average what you're looking at on 17s, 18s, 20s on your wheel sizes. Lastly, what we're going to probably discuss here is we're going to discuss what kind of tires, the difference of the tires. You have two main tires. I'm going to roll a couple over here real quick so we can get them on camera. Okay, so here's what we got. Now I rolled over, these are both Toyo tires. This is a mud terrain, and this is an all-terrain. They're a little bit different sizes. So this one's just a hair shorter than this one. But I'm going to discuss kind of the differences. An all-terrain tire is going to be exactly what it says. It's an all-terrain tire. It is going to be something that's going to work great on all aspects. It'll be great on the street. It'll be great on the off-road. It will work good in mud and snow. It's a good all-around tire. And what you're going to find usually on an all-terrain is you're going to find closer tread blocks. The tread blocks are going to be a lot closer together. You'll see a lot more siping in the tread. That's going to be for wet roads, ice, snow. And usually by this, it's going to give it the more contact patch it has, which is with all these treads being close together, it's going to give it a quieter, smoother, and it's going to last a lot longer on the road. Now, nowadays, some of your mud trains are actually starting to be able to last almost as long as some of the all trains, so they're coming a long ways. Now, this is your typical mud train. Mud train is going to have open tread blocks, big space in between the tires. You're going to have the knockout cleats in here to get the mud out of them. The whole point of this is just to grab and gnarl, in the dirt, mud, snow, everything you want to do. It's going to be a lot more aggressive, different tread blocks. It still does have some of the siping, so it's good on the road, but it's going to be a real nice off-road tire. Also, another thing you'll start noticing on a lot of tires these days is the tires are going to have side biters. This is a real hot new thing, and what's cool about this is if you get in the dirt, you go from having an actual 12.5 wide tire to almost a 14-inch wide tire because you add in your side blocks, and this stuff gets into the dirt as well. And this helps give you traction other than just the tread, so it works really nice. These are two of our real popular tires. They do really well for us. Typical mileage on one of these is going to be anywhere from 40 to 60,000 miles. And on these, they can be, depending on how well you take care of them, you can get anywhere from 30 to 40,000 out of these as well. And it's a mud train. So these are one of the best ones on the market right now. But that is basically the difference between an all-terrain and a mud train. Now, one other tire that unfortunately I don't have here to show you that is starting to become a lot more popular is what they're almost calling like a hybrid tire. And what it is, it's like a mix between the two. It's not quite an all-terrain, not quite a mud train. It's kind of got a mix of both. It's going to have more aggressive side blocks on the outside, but it's going to have more mild tread on the inside, and it's going to give it that, good, even better all-around traction than you are going to get with one of these. But that's basically the main setup that you're going to have on your different types of tires. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us at sales@trucksunique.com, or you can also give us a call at 1-800-765-1791. Again, my name is Chris. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.